All right, folks, welcome back to Kings of Opinion, episode 81. We got the usual suspects here, Big Earn and the Wonder. Say hello.
Hello. Glad to be here.
All right, so this Ryan rant just hit me today on the way to work and from work.
Same rant both times?
It's something I noticed several times when I was driving into work today.
Okay.
I don't know if there's a law on the books, but there's 3 vehicles that should never be driving in the left lane anywhere. It's trucks, regular buses, and school buses.
Which I believe is definitely a law.
Is it?
I believe so.
Because I know you can't drive like 40 miles an hour in the left lane or lower than 40 miles an hour, but I don't know if you're not allowed to have trucks in any of those lanes. But I'm tired of getting into the left lane and just wanting to get home or get to work.
What kind of trucks are you talking? You talking about semi-trucks? Like 18
Yeah, like
wheelers?
or the smaller trucks. Like they don't have to be the 18 wheelers, but like like they're not like the big trucks. You know what I mean? Like almost like the box trucks, sort of. Not like the Amazon ones, the ones that are slightly bigger.
Yeah.
Like almost like the moving trucks, like those. But any of those, nothing, because they drive 30 miles. The Mack trucks I actually understand because they got to go into all these different gears. So like they stay slow so that they don't have to shift as much, right? But these school buses are always in the left lane. Like if you leave work in rush hour and you see these school buses, why are they in the left lane? And better yet, why are there children in there and you're in the left lane? Go to the middle of the right lane. Like what the hell is going on here? You know, they're driving so slow. And remember that rant I had many moons back with that crazy bus driver. So we're not even gonna get into that again. But the fact of the matter is they shouldn't be in the left lane. You're just clogging up shit.
No left lane for trucks and buses on multi-line highways in New York State.
Well, you know what? Someone should start enforcing that goddamn thing because it's annoying as hell. I can't tell you how many times I get stuck behind those things in the left lane, and all you want to do, I'm not even saying I got to do 70 or 80. I'm just trying to do 60 and get home.
Yeah.
Like it shouldn't take me an hour and 10 minutes to get home. And then you see bus after bus after bus in the left lane. I'm like, what are you doing? You got kids on there. Get over. You know, you get into an accident because of whatever. You're inviting it. You know what I mean? Like you're in the left lane going, someone's gonna speed around you. You don't see them. Also, bang, boom, and you know.
Creating hazard.
Yeah, like just get in the right lane. And you know what's funny? I'm glad you looked that up because probably a lot of people don't know that, right? Even though you think some of those people would because you take tests for that.
Right. The ones that are driving those vehicles should definitely know.
Correct. That's what I was getting at. So like you would think they would know, but that just goes to show you that, you know, they'll probably just pass anyone at the DMV or when you get a job like that, they're like, yeah, whatever, man, do whatever you want as long as you don't get into trouble, you know? And we talked about it before with the school buses. Like they give you some bogus number that no one ever picks up. You know? It just rings and rings and rings and it goes to a voicemail. But I don't know, man. That stuff pisses me off. That was my quick little rant. I hate that. Someone needs to do something about this. Like I wouldn't mind the highway cops just sitting there and just ticketing them all, like pulling them over and just boom, and teaching them a lesson because that'd be kind of nice.
It's the same thing as people double park all over the place on Hillside Avenue.
Oh yeah, that goes without saying. But that's not just on Hillside Avenue. That's literally all over the city. People just park wherever they want. It's crazy. It's even crazier in Manhattan because you know, like the alternate side parking.
Yeah.
They'll double park on the other side of the street to leave that empty, and then they just put it back there an hour and a half later. I'm like, what's happening? And then you get a couple guys that don't give a crap if they get a ticket. So then when they all double park on the left, and then there's a couple cars on the right, you can't even get down the street. Like if you have a decently sized car, you can't squeeze through because you got 3 rows of cars parked. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, let's get to the abomination of this football weekend, huh? What a terrible weekend it was. So I woke up. Now I don't know. You always wake up early.
Yeah.
So did you watch any of the Giant game?
Yeah, I did watch a bit. They were trailing, but then they made a bit of a comeback, and they had some chances at the end there. But I guess
Yeah, what they turn it over in overtime?
Yeah, the first snap of the game, the guy Tracy Jr. fumbled the ball, and Carolina got it back and then kicked the field goal.
Which is a shame because he's like you know, pretty much one of the only few bright spots on that team.
Yeah, he's
had
been,
a couple of great weeks.
he's doing pretty good since he took over for Singletary when he got hurt. I felt bad for him, and if you saw him on the sideline, like you could tell he's like a young kid and he's a rookie because they had to throw the towel over his head because he's probably bawling his eyes out. Yeah, he was upset.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which you hate to see, but like, I'll give him this. At least he cares. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like your team ain't going nowhere, and he knows like he messed up, and then they lost the game because of it. I didn't see the whole game because I said to myself Saturday night, I'm not waking up early for this game because one way or another, it's going to be just a disappointing
Not
game.
the sexiest matchup.
No, and it was in Germany. I'm like, I'm not waking up at 9:30. So I got up at 11. It was right at halftime. So I watched the second half. And I was sitting here and I was like, I was playing on my phone more than I was watching the game. It was so boring. I was like, ugh. I'm like, so technically I watched 2 Jet games on Sunday.
Yeah, basically.
You know what I mean?
And what's funny is, because I literally, like you said, turned it on at some point in the morning, but then quickly switched it, and I don't even know what I watched, but I saw it long enough to see a stat that as awful as the Giants are and as awful as Daniel Jones is, and people are talking about he probably played his last game as a Giant, I saw a stat that said the Giants are the only team in football that have 2 receivers with over 50 receptions each thus far, you know, before that game
Really?
in the season. Yeah, with Neighbors and
Wandale Robinson? Huh?
right.
Yeah. Well, you know what it is? That has a lot to do with the game scripts, probably. They're passing the ball a lot more because they're constantly playing from behind.
Yeah, that's true. Too.
You know what I mean? That wouldn't surprise me. But you know what actually does surprise me is they have that many receptions, and how many touchdowns do they have? Not many.
Wow.
Good, because they're the last team in the league in scoring. So, and then how many yards do they have? Like, probably not a lot of that either. So they're making these short little, like, dunk off or, like,
Right.
you know, dunk plays, and, you know, it's not really helping that much. But that game was probably, actually, no, I can't even say that. The Jets game was just as bad. It was worse, actually. Like,
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that was going to be a good game.
yeah, I don't even know what to expect.
And it's funny too because I heard like either the day before or Friday on my way home from work, you know, these cockamamie commercials for these guys with the betting and everything, or if it was one of the show hosts during, and it was like, bet the house on the Giants. Bet the house. If there was ever a game where you're gonna bet the house, it's gonna be this one. Yeah. I hope you didn't bet your house, buddy.
Right. That guy's probably living homeless in the woods somewhere right now in a tent. If you did that, but yeah, no. Those are games I don't care if you have a gun to my head. I'd say shoot me. I would never bet on that game because you just don't know. It's just like the Jets. Like you said, you think it would have been a competitive game,
Yeah.
and it was far from it.
I was looking forward to that game.
Me too, because I was kind of hoping that the Jets would win however they would win. I don't care what the spreads were or whatever, but they, you know, steal a win, if you want to say, because they're on the road.
Right.
And it would give them some momentum for the next week. And then you hear some of the stuff that they're saying after the game. What happened to Aaron Rodgers? What a bum. I used to like that guy, especially when he was with Green Bay.
What a disappointment.
Yeah, not only is he a disappointing, almost the whole team is a disappointment, but Jesus, like, start saying something else, please. Like, I'm tired of hearing him saying, like, yeah, you know, it wasn't our week, and, you know, there's a lot of things we could have done better. Like, I can't hear that anymore. If I hear that one more time, I'm just going to stop watching the Jets the rest of the year because...
The question is he going to be a Jet next year?
I don't... Well, he's got his contract, so the only thing that they could really do is mutually, like, agree to trade him somewhere, or he could retire. I mean, you know, or stay. Like, those are the 3 options I would think. I was listening to the radio the other day, and they were saying some of the similar things. But then Devontae Adams only wants to be there if he's there. You know what I mean? Which isn't the worst thing in the world, right? Like, if you're really this bad and you only have 3 wins and you get another top 10 pick, go get a quarterback, I guess, right? I mean, what else are you going to do? Play Tyrod Taylor all year next year? Like, I don't know.
Maybe Cowboys and Jets make a trade. Aaron Rodgers for Dak Prescott.
You would probably love that, but I'll be honest with you, that's like trading milk for mud. Like, who cares? You know? Like, honestly. I actually want him to stay, believe it or not, next year and let him take his licks no matter what happens. But I do want to draft a quarterback this year. And I'm not saying to throw in the towel because I know the Jets.
The problem is I don't think there's much coming out, right?
There's only a couple guys. It wasn't like this year where there was like 5 or 6. I think there's like 2 or 3, you know? But
one of which being
yes.
Shador Sanders,
Yeah.
Deion's son, and you know, what are the chances that Deion gets the? I saw something where was it Rex Ryan is making the plea on ESPN the other day
Yeah, I heard I saw that.
The Cowboys should hire Deion Sanders as their next coach.
Did you hear what Rex Ryan wants to do? Speaking of him, because I was going to bring him up next.
No.
He was campaigning to be the Jets head coach right now. He wants to come back. I'm like, this guy got a pair of balls.
I would take him.
I mean, you really don't have a choice right now but he's another defensive head coach. Like,
Yeah, but he was a guy that they should have never got rid of to begin with. In my opinion.
well, it's a good thing we do an opinion-based show, right?
I don't think they should have ever got rid of him.
Nah, his time wore off because the team was starting to go down the tubes anyway. You know what I mean? After they lost a few
He
guys.
went to 2 AFC
AFC
championship games with Mark Sanchez.
Agreed.
as their starting
But what did he
quarterback.
do after that? After that, they hit the slopes. You know what I mean? It wasn't like that was at the end and then they fired him. That was pretty much at the beginning. He had one bad year in the beginning. Then he went to the championship games and he had, I think, 2 more seasons after that were not great. But either which way, would I take him over what we got now? Absolutely. I would take you over what we got right now. Here, take the headset, guy. Get in there. You know, just call simple plays. I don't know what to tell you. I just lean on, you know, that guy. What is it? What's his name? Jeff Ulbrich?
Yeah, Ulbrich.
Ulbrich, thank you.
Listen,
When he took over as the head coach,
we know
his
who's
defense
running-
went down.
We know who's running the show there, and that's the problem. They got a guy who's not doing shit running the show.
That's probably like 75% of the problem. But once he took over as head coach, his defense has been hitting the slide the last 3 games. Like, their defense is better than this. So put him back as a coordinator and shuffle somebody else in, or, you know, get a head coach that's offensive minded. Maybe something will trigger with Aaron Rodgers, because you know what? Whatever he keeps saying and doing isn't working. Hackett sucks. Now this other guy that's making the play calls also sucks. Can we get someone in there that's creative or something?
Well, that's what Hackett was supposed to be, and that's his boy.
And he sucks. He sucks. You have all the talent around him. Not to say that you have the Devontae Adams of 7 years ago. I get it. But still, he can still catch the ball he showed you last week.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the hell, like, what are you doing? And technically, you still have a chance after all this to make the playoffs, because everyone else is also shitty in the AFC.
There's a lot of sad stories in the NFL.
Yeah, like you got 3 really good teams, the Bills, the Ravens, and the Chiefs. And then everyone else is mediocre or terrible. So with some luck and with some like this week they have the Colts. Can you beat the goddamn Colts? They got old man Joe Flacco that couldn't pay for the Jets.
Well, you know what's going to happen. Joe
Of-
Flacco's going to
Of course he's going to light it up.
beat the piss out of him.
Yeah, 300 yards, probably 4 touchdowns. And then Aaron Rodgers is going to look like Joe Flacco on the Jets. 100 passing yards, 3 interceptions.
He's already looking like
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't even know if I should watch the game on Sunday. What time is the game on Sunday anyway? Like, can I be asleep? Is it at like 11 o'clock or something? Like, take a nap? Or something?
I don't think it's 11 o'clock, but let's see. If
I know it's not. I'm being sarcastic, but I kind of wish it was. I could sleep through half of it. Maybe wake up like, oh my God, they're actually winning.
It's a 1 o'clock game.
Oh,
so
good. So maybe, you know what I'll do? I'll wake up early.
Have a really late night on Saturday.
Right. Wake up a little early and then take a nap from 1 to 4. That's what I'll do. That's what I think I'll do. Either that or maybe we should go golfing instead. We'll go golfing at 11 so that we'll miss the 1 o'clocks.
All right, that sounds good.
Did you see any other games this week? What about your Cowboys?
No, I didn't see any of that. I guess that's a good thing.
Oh,
Um,
oh.
That's I think I might have watched like 5 minutes.
That game was awful too.
yeah, and I'm trying to think what was the other. Oh,
There
I
are
think
a lot of sad stories in the NFL this year.
There's like 6 teams that have 2 wins.
I watched a little bit of Pittsburgh and Washington and
That was a good game.
San Francisco
Yeah,
and Tampa.
and there you go. Perfect, perfect side note for the Jets season, right? They get rid of Mike Williams, who does nothing with them, and first game with Russell Wilson, who's supposed to be a dog at this point, and scores a freaking amazing touchdown.
Yeah, and that was, I think, his first catch too. He was only in there because some other guy got hurt, and he does I think they call it the Russell Wilson's chuck. He just chucks it up in the end zone, and the guy catches it out of nowhere. But you know what? I don't blame the guy. I'm happy for him. Like, go on a winning team. Like,
Oh, yeah.
you know, like whatever. Like, we got a bullshit 5th round pick that we're gonna turn into like paper towels or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, whatever, man. Like, he'll probably be like the trainer's assistant. Who knows at this point? But Jesus, like, oh, that was a really good game though. I'll give him that. Another game that was crazy to me, and I didn't watch a ton of it, because the festivities at Fallon's got the best of me on Sunday. So I was just relaxing, but I watched the Lions game against I can't even think who they played. The Texans.
Jared Goff throwing for 5
Yeah,
interceptions.
like, and then still winning the game.
Yeah, they were down big at the half, right?
Yeah, I think they were down like 16-3 or something like that, maybe, or 17-3.
And I gotta tell you, I'm getting tired real quick of this Kansas City nonsense. They are the luckiest team I think I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, if you're a conspiracy theorist, you could start saying that the fix is in for the NFL season. Like, we know what the script is by now. You know what I mean? I still think they're going to wind up losing a game. I just think they're
They're
getting.
going to lose this week to Buffalo.
Yeah, there's a chance.
Buffalo's-
Well, Buffalo's one of those other teams that always chokes too.
Yeah, but I mean, I didn't even realize. They said this is the best start they've had since like
Yeah, they're 8-2.
forever.
Yeah, they're 8-2. They're doing well. Yeah, because you know what normally happens, and it happened last year too. The beginning of the year, they started off hot. Then they had like a 3 or 4 game stretch where they couldn't do anything right, remember? And then they fired the OC coach.
Yes.
And then they put this other guy in that's on it, that's still there now. Remember? And then James Cook took off, and then they went like run into the playoffs. So they didn't have that this year yet.
But that's what I'm saying. Like the way that the Chiefs have been winning these games lately, and just getting so lucky. I mean, great. I get it. They blocked a field goal, but you know,
They were playing Denver, right?
it's luck, right? And I don't know. I think Buffalo's good enough where that luck's gonna run out.
Listen, if it did run out, I wouldn't be surprised. I just know the Bills against Kansas City in the last couple of years have not been good to the Bills. But you got to give Kansas City at least a little bit of credit. I actually was watching the game with Devang and Rob Hoy, and once they made the stop, or once they scored and they went up, what was it, 16-13 I think it was, or 16-14 or 15, it was close because the field goal would have won them the game. Denver.
Right.
So whatever the score was, I know Kansas City had 16. I just don't know if they had 14 or 15. But whichever way, once we were watching the game, I said, watch right now, Denver's going to miss this kick. Now, they didn't just overall miss it. It got blocked.
Right.
But it was still, like,
Technically, same result.
right, you know? And when you were watching the play, it's almost like Denver just didn't care. Like, the entire middle of the line collapsed, and you saw, like, 4 Kansas City players jumping up for that ball. It was crazy. Like, normally you get one guy in there and he sneaks in and he blocks it.
Right.
There was like 4 of them there. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it was like the greatest of snaps either. Like if you really pay attention, you see the holder kind of like had to go to his outside to catch it and then bring it back.
But even still, they let everyone through is what I'm saying, which
Yeah.
you don't really see often.
But I mean, the kick would have been out a little sooner, so it might have gotten through.
It's
you know?
yeah, it's possible. It's definitely possible. What other things? Oh, didn't the Saints play the Falcons and the
Yeah.
Saints won?
Yep.
Yeah, I think that was.
So when for first game for the interim coach or new coach, whatever he is, I don't know.
Oh, that's right. The guy got fined. Yeah, man, a lot of crazy stuff this week. Actually, what about the shitty ass Bears? I was watching that game too, and the Patriots suck too. Like, what's wrong with the Bears?
That's another same old story like the Jets. No matter what number one draft pick quarterback they take, they always have the same freaking story, man. They don't do shit.
Them, the Browns, and the Jets are like destined to never have a good quarterback, I think.
I'll be honest with you. I didn't like Caleb Williams in college.
Yeah, I didn't see his hype. I didn't see his hype either. I don't really watch much of college, but when I saw his highlights and whatnot during the draft, and I saw him in the first couple weeks of the season, I was like, eh. Whereas you look at Jaden Daniels, and you're like, whoa, you know, and
you were saying that when you watched his games at LSU, too.
Right? You know what I mean. And they say he's not to say that they're all not, but they say he's got a super football mind, Jaden Daniels. He's not the biggest guy. He's not super strong or anything like that. But he knows what he's doing or what he's going to do with that football. Which, if you're a quarterback, that's probably the most important thing you need to know.
Yeah.
Screw being 250 pounds like Josh Allen and being able to truck people all over the place.
And the moment doesn't seem to get too big for him.
Right.
He's calm under pressure.
Those are what we call intangibles
Yeah.
that you cannot teach. You just have it or you don't.
Exactly.
And when you have it, good things can happen to you. Just like when they beat the Bears on the Hail Mary.
Yeah, it seems like the Bears have been in free fall
Ever since,
then.
yeah. Well, I would too. Like that Hail Mary was crazy. It bounced off the defender, and then the guy's just sitting there. Oh, look what I got. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Another really pathetic kind of game was the Vikings Jaguars. Did the Vikings just think they weren't going to show up and like they were just going to win, or
Yeah, I mean,
like all field goals basically?
we kind of had to, I mean, at least expect a letdown here and there from Sam Darnold. I mean, he's been playing pretty damn good, you know.
Yeah, he has. He definitely has.
Another Jet, by the way.
Yeah, no problem. There are Jets all over the league. Let me see. The Chargers won against the Titans. We all knew that.
Chargers are also looking pretty good.
What's their record? Do we know?
6-3.
Really?
I believe.
No.
Tell you in 2 seconds.
Yeah, you're right. You got it.
6-3, right?
Yeah, they're second in the division.
Also, the best start they've had in a very long time,
Right.
too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, no, you're not mistaken. And what's funny is they're playing the Bengals this week. So we'll talk about that in a few minutes. I'd like to personally thank, if he is watching, Joe Burrows. You had a great Thursday night game, even though you lost. I'm sorry. But you were literally phenomenal.
Yeah, I feel your pain, Joey B. I had you in my starting lineup, and I still lost the game.
You should not have lost that. How does that?
Because I went up against the guy who had Jamar Chase.
Oh, that's different though. Because as good as Joe Burrows was, Jamar Chase was just a hair better, or the points count better for him.
Little tip for all our fantasy fans out there: this is why you stack your QB and wide receivers. Because if you had both of them in your starting lineup, you're talking about 120 points.
You would have won just off those two guys alone. And yes, I'm always a big fan of stacking the quarterback with somebody on the offense. It doesn't necessarily have to be the wide receiver because you might not be able to get both like that. But a running back, which I did because I had Chase Brown. So I actually had, after leaving Thursday's night game, I didn't even have to pay attention to my one team in fantasy because I had Burrows, I had Chase Brown, and I had Mark Andrews. So I had 96 points on Thursday alone from 3 dudes. I was like this. I will sit and relax on Sunday. And that's what I did.
It's a good feeling.
And I scored 184 points this past weekend.
Wow.
Just to show you, too, I was in 10th place 4 weeks ago, and I made a charge, and I'm not just tied for first, but I'm winning on points. I'm in first place in my fantasy football after 4 weeks. I won 8 weeks. I won 8 games in a row because we do like that median thing.
Yeah.
So I got the points and I got the wins, So I won technically 8 games in a row. So I went from whatever it was, 5-7 to 13-7. And now I'm in first place and I have the lead in overall points. I'm tied with 2 other dudes, but hopefully this week Joe Burrows can light up the Chargers and have some more magic for me because I have an issue in week 12. You guys want to hear my issue?
A lot of buys.
Like half my team is on a bye. So I posed this question to my chiropractor when he was cracking my neck and back the other day. I'm like, what do I do? I'm like, do I go to try and get the W on week 12 or do I just sit back? Because what happened was I don't even have a backup quarterback because I took Kirk Cousins and didn't realize that he has the same bye week as Joe Burrows. So I can't drop Kirk Cousins either because he's been doing good. He didn't do good this week, but the last 3 or 4 weeks he's been putting up 20 plus points.
Yeah, but are you starting him over Joe Burrow?
No, but here's where all the strategy comes into. You can't throw him out on that waiver wire and give someone that you might be potentially playing a good quarterback.
Yeah, but you're now stuck because you have 2 quarterbacks both on the same bye.
Agreed.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I can afford, if I win this week, knock on wood, week 11, let's just say I go 2-0 again. I'm now 15-7. Still should be in first place because no one's gonna. There's only 2 other teams that can tie me, but they'd have to score 100 more points than me this week in order to beat me out of first.
So what happens this week will dictate a little bit of what you're.
Right. If I win this week, I go 2-0. I'm just gonna take whatever L's I get in week 12, and then hope that weeks 13 and 14 I can make it back up.
You're gonna start no quarterback.
No quarterback, and that's what I'm telling you. I also let's see if I can pull it up. Damn it. So, whatever. I should have fucking did this beforehand, but so in week 12, I have what the fuck is this? This is like a whole different year. Okay. Yeah, no. All right, so this is not going to work on here. I don't know what's going on but with this, but either which way, I'm missing Burrows out of my starting lineup, Chase Brown, because obviously he's on the same team, James Cooks, Darnell Mooney from Atlanta, and Kirk Cousins. He's on my bench. So I basically am playing without 2 running backs and a quarterback. And my chiropractor said, just take the L because you don't want to dump people that you need for the long haul in order just to field the team in week 12, which he's not wrong. I was thinking about that the whole time and I was leaning that way. But then I go to my matchup of, 2 weeks from now, and I find out that the guy I'm playing also is doing the same thing, and he's even worse. He literally has everyone on a bye but 3 people. I have a bunch of people on a bye but 6. So I'm missing 3 roster spots, a quarterback and 2 running backs. He's missing the same thing, but then he's also missing other spots. And he can fill a few of them in, but as of right now, I'm projected to beat him by 30 points. I won't make the medium, but if I just beat him and I go 1-1, that's a huge victory, right? So now I'm thinking no matter what happens, as long as he doesn't pull some Fugazi, which he can't, because he's not going to dump guys like Travis Kelce or Jordan Love or whoever the hell's on a bye, he's not going to do that. You know what I mean? Let's see here. Maybe it works. Yeah, all right, cool. So he has Josh Allen. He's only playing right now in his starting lineup 4 people. Jamar Gibbs, Jerry Jeudy, Keenan Allen, who he plays for the Bears. Is like 0 points anyway. And the Commanders defense, right? I have everybody in my lineup but just my quarterback and 2 running backs, which maybe in 2 weeks, I actually have that guy Brooks from Carolina. He didn't play this week, but he's projected to play that week. So I can have 1 running back in there. So I will be without a running back and a quarterback. You know what I mean? And I could drop somebody, but do I have to? Like I could probably drop the guy Davis from the Bills, the backup, but I don't want to drop him because he's my James Cook handcuff. So like that's kind of important just in case there's a playoff run. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but is he gonna get picked up, or is he still gonna be there next week?
He's all over the waiver wire, but you can't take that chance. I could drop, Xavier Worthy or the tight end Kraft, but these are all good guys. You don't want to put these guys on the waiver and make another team stronger like 2 weeks before the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Worthy's been a big disappointment. I thought he was gonna have such a big year.
Me too. And if there was one guy I was going to drop, it might be him. But once again, I'd rather just leave him on my bench and just take my chances. Like right now, I'm projected to win 81-50, right? If I could get a running back in or something like that, like the only good thing is if Brooks stays out, I could put him on my IR and it opens up a slot. Then I'll just snag a quarterback and play with no running backs and go from there. Because at least the quarterback will get me 18 points, somewhere like that. They could get me. But I think that's how I'm going to play it. He's got nobody. He's literally have nobody to play. All his people are on buys week 12. I don't even know some of these guys in their own buys. Like, who is this guy Pete Washington on Jacksonville? He's got 2 Buffalo wide receivers, Coleman and Hollins. They're on a bye. So maybe they'll dump them and add some guys. But he's got Kincaid on a bye, Tipton on a bye. Week 12 must be what do they have, 6 teams on a bye? This is crazy.
I know, I got a lot of guys on buys too.
Nuts. But anyway, I digress with the football for a second and fantasy football. Let's go to our picks. Are you ready? Tell us how we did last week. I'm curious.
We didn't do good.
No one did. Great.
I did bad.
Ryan was 1-3.
Which Ryan?
Wanderer was 1-3.
Oh, okay.
And Big Earn led the pack at
2-2?
measly 2-2.
Oh boy. So what's the overall right now?
The overall is, sad to say for you, Ryan, that Big Earn is percentage points in the lead now at 20-15. Pugs is at 20-16.
Ugh.
And the Wanderer is at 16-19.
It's still anyone's game. That's all we want to see. I'll be honest with you, we can't. It's almost a wash. But you know why it's not a wash? Because you had your bye week already.
Right.
I need my bye week. When's my bye week? Is it week 13 or 14? Like, when's the Jets bye week? Like, I'm sick of this crap.
Good question.
I have no idea. Like, I wish I knew. Like, they're killing me right now. Can they give me just one win? And you know what they're gonna do? Who they play this week? The Colts. They're gonna win this week and not cover, and I'm still gonna lose. I guarantee it. Well, maybe that's me being facetious, right? They're not gonna win. The Colts are gonna win. It's not even close. All right, Aaron. Start with your pick since you're the big winner this week.
Okay.
Tired of this crap.
Let me just pull this up. With my first pick, I am going, I think we're going to have for the second week in a row, no, not that many. Last week we had a lot of similar picks. This week looks a little
More wide open.
Yeah. So my first pick, I'm going with the Bengals getting 1.5, which pretty much tells you the Chargers are going to win because Vegas is never wrong, and everybody's probably going to throw all the money on the Bengals with the game they had last week.
Yeah.
But let's see. We need another big week from Joey B.
We certainly do. I don't need him to put up 55 points, but a nice 30 points would be great.
Yeah.
You know?
Second, I'm going with the Saints at home, giving. Oh, I gotta fix this. It's 1.5. I have 1 minus 1.5.
Boom, there you go.
Okay.
So far, we have picked
They're
the same
playing
two.
the Browns. Browns stink. I think it's still Jameis Winston at quarterback for them, right?
Yeah.
Third pick, I'm going, as I said before, with the Bills to finally beat the Chiefs. I'm tired of seeing the Chiefs win, so let's go Bills. Giving 2.5 at home. And then lastly, I'll take the Cowboys getting 7.5. Not very confident. But, and they always lose to the Texans too, so I don't know if that's a smart choice. But
Probably not, but you're going to die on that hill.
Do you know they've lost their last 4 home games?
Yeah,
They suck.
they do suck. They can't even win at
If
home.
Mike McCarthy doesn't lose his job this year, I think he's going to be the next Brian Cashman and never lose his job.
Yeah, you know what's funny? I'll tell you this much. You know who needs to step back a little bit? Jerry Jones.
Well, that's been for the last 20 years.
Yeah, but like, enough is enough, dude. You know what? Be like, listen, make any excuse you want.
Unfortunately, and all joking aside, that's not gonna. It's gonna be another Yankee situation where that's not gonna happen until he dies, or the last couple of years of his life because he's gone completely senile and he can't.
Right.
But that's never gonna happen because that needed to happen 20 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, but it needs to happen now. Like, you need a GM in there that could fix this team because this team is unraveling and it's terrible. You need a new head coach. And you know what's disappointing? And I keep saying it, and I might be a broken record at this point, but why is nobody knocking on Vrabel's door? That guy was an amazing head coach for the Titans.
Yeah, I mean,
Like, who?
I would love to get Vrabel.
Who wouldn't? Like, why don't you just say, hey, pal, like, listen.
Unless there's something about him that we don't know, I don't know, but
Did he show a cheerleader his penis pictures or something? I don't know.
maybe.
All right, whatever. I'm going to start it off with the Browns versus Saints. Same thing. Browns suck. Saints are giving a point. So if the Saints can't beat the Browns by more than a damn point, I'm going to be upset. And I'll tell you that right now. The next one is Colts versus Jets. Of course, Jets are giving 4 points. I'm going to take the Jets just because that's what I've been doing all year. Why stop now? It's literally ruined my record the last 4 or 5 weeks with all the losses that they gave me. I could thank them for me being percentage points behind Ernie right now in the rankings. But yeah, who cares? Whatever. I might not even watch this game. I might be golfing at Douglaston, so who gives a shit? The next one that I differ from Ernie is the Rams versus Pats. Now, the Rams lost last night to Miami. I'm trying to see if they rebound. The Pats aren't the best, even though they're pretty decent defensively. But I think the Rams are going to have a good comeback, get some momentum going because they're not far out of the playoffs. They might even be in the playoffs right now. I'm not sure. I want to say they were 5-4 or something like that, so now they're dead even. But yeah, they're -5, so let's see how that goes. And then I'm also with you with the Bengals and the Chargers. I need Joe Burrows to keep doing what he's doing and slinging touchdowns. And if he does, I don't think the Chargers will be able to keep up. As good as Herbert is, he is not Joe Burrow. So I think if they go out to LA and Joe is even, 50% of what he was against the Ravens, they should win that game easily, and they're getting 1.5. So that's for me. Wander on to you.
All right. First up, I'm going with the Ravens, -3. As you mentioned, they're one of the better teams in the AFC. Hopefully, they can get it done by at least a field goal. Next up, I'm going with the Vikings, -6. Hopefully, they can play a little better this week. And then third, I'm going to go with the Dolphins, -7.5. They seem to be trending in the right direction with Tua. Hopefully they can win and by a comfortable margin. And then finally I'm going to go with Houston, -7.5. Because picking against Dallas was the only game I got right.
That's awesome. At least you're
Wah, wah.
you're not picking with your heart like some other people, but
Cowboys suck.
they do suck. You know what's miserable? Not one of us could be happy for our team when
I
we're doing
know.
the show. Like, we have nothing good to say.
I know.
It's like you having a
We have
redheaded
so
stepchild.
much good to say for during the baseball season.
I know. Well,
and now football season comes and
it's like wah wah wah. It's like we have redheaded stepchildren all over the place. Like, I don't want to see you. Get out of here. I'm done with you. But whatever. So I wanted to ask you something without giving away the ending of The Old Man, because I'm really close. Like, by this
close
weekend.
to what? Season 1?
Season 2. I didn't realize season 1 was only 7 episodes, and season 2's 8. I'm on season 2. I want to say episode 6.
You might be ahead of me then.
You didn't even finish watching it?
No, I don't think so.
What have you been doing? And don't say baseball. It's been over for 2 weeks. Because I was going to ask you how if the ending is if there's a season 3.
Yeah, there's definitely a season 3.
Oh, you watched the second one?
Yeah.
Okay. There's definitely season 3.
So where are you at in season 2?
Angela, Emily, or Parwana just died. Like right after that. And they're trying to figure out what to do next.
Fuck, you're definitely ahead of me.
Whoops.
Oh boy.
Next time, maybe you should have told me what you were at. Anyway, all right, so we can't really talk much about that, but I'm almost done with that. I saw some movie, did I mention it last week with, what's his name? Something Cranston? Is it Billy?
Bryan Cranston?
Bryan Cranston?
From Breaking Bad?
Yeah. It's some movie, I want to say on Netflix. The Infiltrator?
Any good?
Yes. Watch it. He's like, not CIA, might be FBI, but he's going against like drug dealers or whatever like that.
I think I've seen the picture of it, but I never watched it.
It's good. Like he pretends to be a drug dealer too. Like it's all like undercover stuff. Really, really good. It was really,
Yeah?
yeah, I liked it. It was, like I think it takes place in like the 80s, and they're going after like cartels and whatever. It's really, really good. Like, I don't want to ruin it, but if you haven't seen it, it's on Netflix, nice and easy.
Oh, John Robinson died?
Yeah, John Robinson, the great old John Robinson.
Have you started Lioness season 2?
No, I haven't yet. I didn't even watch season 1 yet.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
Oh.
Yeah, that's on the list. So that's pretty much all I think. I mentioned Venom last week, right? I talked about that, so that's good.
Did you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
I watched it.
And
This is more comical than anything
Yeah.
else, actually.
yeah. But did you like the end fight scene basically with all the symbiotes?
Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
I thought that was cool because that was like comic book stuff. So I
Okay.
appreciated that.
Yeah.
They called themselves, instead of like the Sinister Six, I think they were the Symbiote Six.
And for his symbiote, is he the voice of his symbiote?
What do you mean, like voice?
Is it Ed Hardy?
Oh, I don't think so. No, I think that's somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But it was an interesting movie. But yeah, we talked about it last week. I'm not gonna get into it. But you enjoyed it, right? It wasn't terrible.
Yeah, it was.
It was like an hour and 40 minutes. It was like
Yeah,
quick.
it was entertaining, but
Yeah.
to me, it was more comical than anything else.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last fight scene was pretty cool.
I kind of like that. I like when they engage. So like the more symbiotes, the better. And like you see all this cool stuff happening. Like
Yeah.
that should have been throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, I liked the black girl symbiote with the arms with the.
Oh, she was green.
Yeah.
And she had like the tentacles came out.
Yeah.
And she like, yeah, that was dope. All of them had different stuff. It was cool. Even the purplish pink chick, she had the lightning, and she was real quick. It was all good. I liked all that stuff. It's good. I was just upset that the main villain didn't really show up. Like you just fought those monsters and that was it.
Right.
That kind of left a little something to imagine, to your imagination.
Yeah, exactly, right? Because
Yeah.
you just saw him in the background, and then he was gone, right?
Right, yeah, and then he was like, oh, he's never showing up. Like, it would have been great if they opened up the portal and then the symbiotes had to fight him.
Right.
Especially considering that the name of the movie was The Last Dance, which means, like, this is the end of the trilogy.
Right.
Like, what are you teasing him for? Unless, like, you have a plan. Because supposedly, like, the rights to these characters for Sony are almost up. I was talking to someone who was saying they're almost up, which means Marvel Studios will get it back. So unless they did that ending so that they could take over.
Yeah, but when you watch the movie, it's Marvel.
Two different Marvels, pal. Sony, Marvel, and then you have Marvel Studios, which is MCU. It's two different.
Oh.
That was that whole beef. I don't know if you follow closely, but the only way they were able to get Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man, into MCU was to make a deal with Sony that they would make the movies, MCU, give them most of the money, but have the character for their other movies. That give them more money.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So they licensed him out. But all the other ones they didn't. So that's why these movies could have been better if MCU had them, which is maybe, or I'm hoping, knock on wood, what maybe they thought a couple steps ahead and was like, listen, we'll leave it like this so that you could continue it. Because at the end of the movie, I don't know if you caught the end trailer scene with the cockroach, which I recently found out wasn't really venom, but there was the empty vial that the doctor lady, that was Juno something.
Right, Juno Temple.
She kept the symbiote, so she's still out there.
Yeah, because she crushed it, right?
Yeah, she's still out there. But a piece of that went into that cockroach because you saw the lightning go through the cockroach or whatever. But there's still another piece of venom from the beginning of the movie where you saw the guy football his life, the bartender.
Yeah.
Remember when he was about to touch? That was venom.
Yeah.
That thing. But they enclosed it.
Yeah.
So venom could still be alive. A piece of him is still alive. So they could bring him back. So he's not completely dead. Because as long as there's a piece of them left, he could reattach.
But why did I think that was the vial that Juno Temple broke?
Because that was the pink one. That was a different one. She took that one when all the chaos was going on. She put it in her pocket.
Right.
That was only meant to tell you that it could keep going. Now, will it? We don't know. I like Venom's character. They need to get him into the MCU to fight Spider-Man. However they got to figure that out. But they're usually they used to be good at writing this stuff. They need to figure that out. Because they need to keep that going. Because so far, all the Spider-Man movies they made in the MCU with Tom Holland have been great.
But the problem is that, I mean, at least watching this movie, it's like Venom is not a bad guy.
He's an anti-hero.
Right, so why would he ever fight Spider-Man?
Because if you remember, when all that blip stuff and the Multiverse of Madness thing was happening, the No Way Home and the Spider-Man, they snatched Venom. Remember, he was in some dungy-ass apartment, and then he was in the Caribbean apartment, a really nice, all-inclusive joint, and he saw him on TV, and he's like, oh, I like him, or whatever. So they started to turn him, not evil, but he wanted to eat Spider-Man, basically,
Right.
So you could use that now if you take him into the MCU, and then you could make him the original Venom with the Spider-Man thing on his chest. You could take that little piece that was left behind, maybe Spider-Man finds it somehow, or it attaches to him. You have the black Spider-Man, and then it changes him, he gets rid of it, and then Eddie Brock, then you see Tom Hardy gets it back, and then it's an all-out war a little bit. The only lackluster thing that I would say is you already went through the Carnage, and he ate Carnage, and now you don't have Carnage. Because that was super awesome in the comics. Do you remember that?
Vaguely, I think.
Venom and Spider-Man were going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then when Carnage happened, they had a tag team up together to fight Carnage. That was some of the dopest writing I've ever read. It was such a cool comic. It was them two versus Carnage. It was cool. But I don't know if you could have that now.
Yeah.
Because they ruined it. But either way, that's what I've been watching. Anything for you, Wander?
I didn't watch any movies. I just been watching Slow Horses, the new season of that, and also Ancient Apocalypse. So that's really it for this week.
What's Ancient Apocalypse?
It's on Netflix. It's more just about places and the history there. It goes against traditional, I guess you could say, archaeology.
So it's conspiracy theorists of what happens in certain instances?
Speculation.
Okay.
But saying that things are older than we think or we're told. I find it interesting.
All right, that's cool. And that's on Netflix?
Yeah, this guy Graham Hancock, he's the host.
Not Herbie Hancock?
No.
Oh, okay. You got any music for us today?
3 selections as always. First up, we have Ab-Soul with Soul Burger. Second up, Flying Lotus with Spirit Box. And third, Vic Spencer and August Fannin with Psychological Cheat Sheet 5. Those are the 3 picks for this week.
All right. Well, that's all for us, folks, this week. And I guess we'll see you next week. Enjoy the rest of this week. Fall is here officially, I guess. It's been a little chilly.
Yeah, getting a little bit nippy out
I kind of like it. It's still primo golf weather because the sun is out and there's no rain.
Yeah.
So maybe we can still get out there for another couple more weeks. Imagine we're golfing in December again like last year.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I wouldn't complain about that.
Not at all, because I got some good winter gear in the closet that I got to use. But yeah, that's it, folks. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.
Take
Have a
care.
good one.